Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. I'm here in the shade. We're all having some crazy weather all over the planet. And where I am at now, we're very ahead of schedule for summer, for spring. It's amazing. A lot of ascension symptoms happening, especially just recently. Today, I've noticed a big influx, uptick. The energy that came in last night, whoa. I know a lot of you are experiencing that. Today is the 20th of February. Um, the 21st and also, of course, the 22nd, which is the 222 portal. There's going to be these energies that are going to be coming in. When they first come in, they do feel like, oh my goodness, what is happening? A little unstable, maybe a little bit more emotional than normal. Noticing maybe a little bit agitation or irritation coming up, even anger, bouts of fear that don't belong. You can't figure out why they're there. They make no sense. These types of things, crying just at the drop of a hat. It's very, very thick energy throughout the whole planet of this grief. A lot of energy of grief, mourning, loss kind of experience happening right now. This isn't only due to the fact that there have been a lot of people who have left recently, and people mourning their loved ones and so on, though also we're mourning who we have been, where we have been. Yeah, we may be leaving something that is unpleasant and we're excited to go. We're excited for it to change, though it is still an energy we have been in for a very long time, multiple lifetimes in most cases. We're saying goodbye to familiarity and we're going into something new. And that's part of this too, is there's this constant sensation of like, you are used to being able to get used to something, a new energy that comes in. You're just like, okay, and this is how I play this game. And then before long, you're able to just be, masterful at this. And I'm finding that there hasn't been time for anyone to master anything. There are no masters. We are all equally, intuitive. We are all equally empathic, getting these messages, we're all channels. We're all channels. And so relying on others is kind of a way of before. It helps to have others speaking their truth and talking about what's happening, because then we can validate ourselves. And in so doing, learn to trust ourselves a little bit more. The conditioning having to do with trust and not feeling like we're sane and those types of things has been a long time coming for many, many, many lifetimes, not only this one. So there's also this coming into your power, coming into the trust of it all. There's a lot of divine feminine energy coming in right now. With the divine energy that's been coming in for a while has been this newly complete divine masculine energy, and it's been kind of wibbly wobbly and kind of like the little boy who first was left home alone and could do what he wanted, kind of an energy where just all kinds of hoopla going down. And now we're kind of stabilizing in that as we move into this conjunction of divine masculine, divine feminine, of Mars and of Venus. They call it a kiss in the celestial or in the astrology world. Though the way that I was shown this is that it's a dance, a beautiful, loving, romantic dance between divine masculine and divine feminine. And so this divine feminine energy is starting to come back in. And she's probably a little bit more stable than she's been before. There's a bit more of this, be nice to yourself kind of energy, this divine feminine dragon energy that's been coming in, the womb energy, and a call to heal this womb. And so if you're male or female, no matter the physical body that you occupy at this time, there's this womb healing happening. And as a result, there is some physical sensation that's been occurring in this area. A lot of lower GI kind of stuff, noticing this weird sensation in the sacral chakra as well as the solar plexus. This space having to do with creation and the creative juices that you're able to flow and express self. Self-expression is this authenticity, speaking your truth, whether it be in what you would call an art form, or you know, some other method. And it's all about creativity, being creative. We're also having a lot to do with this energy that's happening in this lower area, also to do with the root chakra. Now we've been in this place where we're trying to understand or allow ourselves to acknowledge the fact that we are in a safe, abundant, secure world. And as we do that, we've been relying on this root chakra because this is where we comfort self, right? This is where we feel comforted. This is where we realize we're safe. And then we realize that all things in life are truly free. And as we do this, we find that there's first going to be some physical sensation in this area. A lot of Kundalini awakening kind of experiences being reported. There are more than one Kundalini experiences, by the way. Often when we talk about the Kundalini awakening, that's considered to be something very unpleasant, though it doesn't always have to be. And there's many layers of it, many experiences with it. And this motion of energy that kind of like snakes around our spine basically and moves up into this throat chakral space. When it gets to the throat, a lot of people have been reporting, including myself, as it gets to the throat, this is where all of a sudden we're inspired and compelled to speak. Though what's interesting, at the same time, we are also still in this place of this restful divine masculine place where there's inaction happening and a desire to just act in a different way is a better way of saying it. Instead of acting outwardly, we're acting within. We're going within deeper. We're spending much more time in self. We're desiring to be alone more often. We're not connecting with others as much as we would typically do, as well as having this very quiet, almost an energy that's so quiet that we don't typically act on it. Desire to be social and connect, I guess, is a better way of saying it. Connecting to those around us. An example being, perhaps you'll be inspired. I just want to talk to somebody, and maybe you send out 4 or 5 texts, and 5 minutes later, people start to answer back, and already you're too late. I don't really want to talk. You know, this has been going on for a lot of people. Also to do with the lower GI kind of stuff, this purge. A lot of people are still purging here, you know, and we're purging a lot of ways, though. A lot of people are having just frequent bathroom trips, you know, difficulty with their bowel stuff, you know, and as a result, having some other side effects such as hemorrhoids. That's been a really common report lately. Remembering that the toxins that we are purging often are the ones that we've had in our body before we were born. We were a complete egg in our mother's womb while she was in her mother's womb, your grandmother. And so there's a lot of toxins that perhaps were in alignment with that time and are no longer. So we're finding that team body is now saying goodbye to elements that perhaps we thought would have stayed with us for a while. And also this is leaving us through our pores. We're finding our skin having some interesting activation stuff happening with it. Noticing like eczema-like stuff, rashes, weird acne. And I still haven't found a better word for that. Because it's like acne, but it's not exactly. Also, a lot of reports about odd sweat. And it's not that your sweat isn't sweat. It just as if sweat is the vehicle that's transporting these other things, this other stuff out of our body and through our pores. And then a resulting element of that is this weird blister-like acne stuff. You know, this is stuff leaving our body. It's leaving us in other ways too. We're also removing our investment from certain belief systems, ideals, ways of being, things that we thought were important before, realizing weren't important at all and can't remember why they were. You know, more and more as we work on this self, we find this inner work. We find perhaps relationships in our lives that were those that we held near and dear are now leaving, and we're not even really all that sad about it. That it's good. This shedding of relationships is a natural course of things. that as we raise our frequency, we notice that our vibrational frequency doesn't really match perhaps those who we had in our lives before. And so there's a natural parting of ways occurring. And then finding others. More and more we're finding each other, finding people who are in this vibrational state that we're keeping. We're also having, of course, the ear ringing. We're having the headaches. The headaches have been on and off for a little while. I find that they're very, very specific to my third eye, as well as the top of my head and down the back, all the way down to the back of my neck. This headache area has always been, every time that it's come in, it's been very fleeting, however profound, very strong experience. Sometimes it also is behind the eyes. A lot of people reporting temple, both sides, type of activation. And then also the sinuses draining, having this mucus thing happening. I've noticed this has a lot to do with the throat chakra, having this draining stuff happening. As we're doing this, it's activating our throat chakra as well as our third eye and our heart. You know, when we cough, this activates this place. And it's also a purging. I actually tuned into that and I asked because I was really curious, you know, like, it doesn't matter what season it is on the planet. Everyone seems to be having it consistently at the same time. And this has to do with this mucus, a lot of this mucus that's leaving us. It's something that's been in our body for a while. You know, maybe it didn't look like what it is when it's leaving us. It's a vehicle of helping it to leave our form. However, it really is stuff that's been in our body for a long time, and it's time for it to go. Also, this dizziness, and dizziness isn't even the right word. It's just kind of feeling like slightly unstable and physically feeling like perhaps you're not quite sure which direction gravity is. And so this kind of disorientation is really an experience. A lot of people reported things that sound similar to listlessness, just feeling like you have energy where you need to do something, but there's nothing that you want to do. So there's a lot of like pacing kind of energy happening, just starting projects all over the place and very rarely getting very far. The opposite of what we are inclined to do right then is usually what's most useful. And what I mean by that is going to a quiet place, into meditation, being at peace and silence for a moment, noticing the light of God coming in through us. Heart palpitations, man, those things are really picking up along with the solar flare activities we've been getting. It's strangely quiet on the Schumann and in the solar flare world the past couple of days. They talked about this as being a respite, but I gotta say, every time that we have these respites, every time that the spirit tells me about respite, it always feels like an eerie silence. It always feels like, where did everybody go? You know, what? And kind of for a moment, like you're the only person on the planet, you know, and I've been getting these a lot, you know, and then the breath in happens again, and all of a sudden there's like all of these people and all these energies, and it's like, okay, we're back to, and so it's the breath in and the breath out that's happening right now. So right now in this respite period, if you can, I encourage you to take extra time on your own in meditation, in silence. You know, the kind of meditation where you're laying there and not really napping, but looking like you're napping is really useful. Spending a lot of time in that place these days. You know, I've noticed more and more, I look forward to bed so I could just lay there. Not because I really am looking forward to the sleep part. It's I'm ready to just not. And in that place, that's when most of the downloads really come in. And so sleep is definitely interfered with. Also, I'm noticing more and more the activity at night has increased quite a lot, being that like energies are coming in. There's new introductory energies that I've never experienced before. Different beings, different star nations coming in right now. And a lot of this has to do with not so much that they're arriving, it's that we're raising our frequency and our vibrational state enough to match theirs, and so they can be perceived. And so in some ways they're always been aware of us and just now going, oh wait, can you see me? You know, that kind of thing is happening a lot. More and more too, I find this really fascinating. Just a interesting side note is that typically, previously, once someone passed, they'd kind of hang out for a while and then they'd go. They'd be doing their own thing. They'd come back around sometimes here and there, but for the most part, they'd go. And what I'm noticing now is it seems like where they're going is where we already are. So it's not, they're just still here. And so there are more energies kind of taking their place to assist this ascension experience globally that's happening right now. If you can at all, if it's possible to go into nature, this really, really does help. When I don't go out barefoot, or if I don't bring soil into the house during the wintertime when it's too cold, then I'm out of alignment. So if you could bring soil into your house, go outside, it's really useful. Also, speaking of this place that I live, we're having a party here on April 8th for the big total eclipse. We're in the line of totality here, and it's a beautiful 152 acres mountain here, all foresty. It's a camping situation. It's going to be beautiful and warm and lovely. If you're interested, the link for the tickets are in the description of the video here. They're really, really affordable. I hope to see you here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And being on this mountain, there's a bedrock of this crystal, and so it's constantly clearing the energy. And so I find that sitting upon this soil and letting my root chakra connect and then move up and then back through again, it creates a vibrational sensation. I know people have been reporting this, though I find that I can activate it on purpose. And doing it with this intention, then it's a lot more stabilized and physically euphoric experience. And so how can you replicate something like that? Well, a large enough crystal that's comfortable enough to sit upon. You could also have a barrier between you and the crystal and pulling the energy up to your root chakra. You don't have to sit on it. You can lay on it. I'm finding this activation method's really been a fascinating and useful experience. So other stuff before I run out of time, the throat chakra stuff, a lot of thyroid, a lot of stuff around the jaw and the mouth, a lot of dental trauma, a lot of weird things happening with the gums. I've heard a lot of reports about people losing their voice, having like laryngitis type of stuff lately. I know I've had it on and off. It's very fascinating. I mean, it's so fleeting. Like, I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I won't be able to speak, a couple of the words, and then I'm back to having my voice back. Different agitations and stuff happening in our voice. This is the sky blue chakra, so if you can use this color, going outside, looking at the sky, if it's cloudy, bringing other colors like this in your life, wearing those kind of clothes, drinking from a cup or eating from a dish of this color really helps. It sounds silly. It's a whole study called color therapy that I didn't know about until I started doing it. Other types of experiences that are going on have to do with this heart stuff. So that's green. Anything with this emerald green. You notice how everybody all of a sudden feels better in spring? It's not only because it's a more pleasant temperature. We are surrounded by green, and we naturally initiate healing with this heart center. Archangel Raphael is this green color. He comes for healing. And so if you can have this green in your life, bringing potted plants into your home, this really does help. It sounds silly, but it truly does help. Other things, the belly, before I forget to mention this, we're having a lot of this like Buddha belly kind of thing, where your belly swells and it's just like water or it's just air. You just feel really bloated, and then all of a sudden, a day or two, it's back to regular again, and then just cycles back through. This has been happening to and with a lot of people. This is just a temporary thing. This has to do with healing of this place. Water flows where light must glow. And so we tend to notice that when our body swells in a place, like we sprain our ankle, right? It's going to swell. And we put our hand there for healing. We amplify the intention of light meaning to go there. And so This is another method that we're talking about here that's happening naturally. Allowing yourself to do this, putting your hand in this place with the intention of healing, of realignment, inviting in the higher energies, the energies that you connect with in this loving place will really assist you. Above all else, know that you're not alone. There are many of us out here, and we're all having identical or very similar experiences all over the planet. That this is a temporary thing, and though, yes, many thought that they would be in a much easier alignment space by now, this is the gift part. And so when you first start to truly open the present, first you see the box, then you see the packaging, then you see, and so we're getting more and more of it. Over the course of this spring and summer, the level of activations and assistance we're being given, and we're getting so ahead of schedule that we'll be getting a little bit more than we had anticipated. As this starts to be more and more noticeable, then things will be able to be more stabilized. However, we're always growing, and these are considered spiritual growing pains. And so allowing yourself to be in your breath, knowing that you're safe, that you're okay, and that we're all doing this together for a purpose. It makes it a lot easier to do it. I love you. You got this. Please don't give up. I know right now is really hard. We're going to have ebbs and flows like this. As it happens, allowing yourself to, if you can, connect to others, at least here and there. I know more and more people are going within and not reaching back out. But if you can, on a daily basis, connect to somebody. This will really help. If you don't have people to connect to, click the link below for the Telegram group. There's like 400 and something of us in this group. And there are people all over the planet, just like us, going through the same kind of experiences. I love you. Thank you for your service. Aho blessings.